The advice for Legendary Beast versus Legendary Golem side B is... This is actually kind of a cool bit of advice here, I'd forgotten about this. So, Regice is generally the best at beating Suicune if it's at full health. Registeel can beat Suicune decently well too, as you saw in my attempt at this. So really, as long as both of them survive until Suicune comes out, it's not that hard of a fight. The only one of yours that has a bad matchup against Suicune is Regirock, or if the others are pretty heavily weakened, then Suicune will be able to deal with them. But this is actually pretty cool advice, and I wish more Battle CDs would do stuff like this. Instead of saying things like, pay attention to the tight matchups. Battle CD 26, Operation Zero, a battle against Mew. For perspective, this is the battle CD that we found on Greevil's chair in the post-game. And it definitely lives up to where you find it, because this one's pretty cool. We have a team of 6 evolutions against Mew. So, like I said, this is a pretty cool battle CD. In fact, this was every evolution that existed at the time of Generation 3. We're all level 30 and the Mew is level 50. And our moves are not that great. I mean, we have some decent moves. Flareon, ironically, probably has the best moveset here. Notice how everyone has Helping Hand, though. The Mew, it obviously doesn't have all 0 IVs and a neutral nature, because those stats would all be equal if that was the case. But anyway, this Mew has a lot of moves, including some that are devastating to us, like Thunderbolt versus Vaporeon, or Brick Break versus Umbreon or Eevee. Also, Psychic is devastating to everyone, and it can also rest with the Chesto Berry, so it effectively can have double its usual health. So this is almost like a boss battle. We need to play to our Pokemon's strengths to win this. If you lived in Australia like me and never ever got events in Generation 3, this is rare footage of Mew actually, well, existing. Anyway, there are a few different tactics you can use here. Mew generally tends to Thunderbolt Vaporeon on the first turn, so you might want to switch out to Jolteon. But because Vaporeon is always at risk of going down to 1 Thunderbolt, Vaporeon really isn't going to do much in this battle, as sad as that is, because Vaporeon's actually a pretty good Pokemon. What I like to do is, and this might seem weird, but bear with me here, is to spam Tail Whip with Eevee. Something else that I want to show too, though, is it's a bit of a weird quirk to this battle city. If you check the evolutions in this, that's weird. All of them list obtained from player name's dad as their location. This is because any Eevee in XD that has the same trainer ID as the player will always say obtained from player name's dad. It's just a weird programming quirk there. But anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Tail Whip, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and switch Vaporeon out for Jolteon. Even though Vaporeon itself is not going to be much of a help in this battle, other than just using Helping Hand. Oh, you went for Eevee. Of course you did. I just wasted my turn. It's the first time I've ever seen you do that, which is kind of a shame. Okay, my Tail Whip spam strategy just got a lot harder because Vaporeon will usually go down to 1 Thunderbolt, and that's probably what Mew's going to do. But I like to Thunder Wave Mew with Jolteon. Jolteon is one of the only things here that is faster than Mew without Thunder Wave up, so... The downside of Thunder Wave, though, is that, well, 1, you get Paralyzed 2 thanks to Synchronize, but 2... Did you just go for Jolteon there? Yes, you did, okay. I'm actually kind of glad you did that. The critical hit does not matter at all. But the other downside of Thunder Wave is that it can rest and completely get rid of that status, I mean. A little thrown off by losing Eevee early, because in my practice attempt this Eevee survived for several turns. Because we're only level 30, you need a few Tail Whips before it actually becomes really that significant. So I'm going to confuse Rayu. Yeah, that's what I like to do. And then I like to set up Summoning with Umbreon. Kind of wish Umbreon also had Tail Whip. because it would make a pretty good user of it here. Umbreon can usually survive for a while if Mew is parafused and Umbreon gets substitute up, even though it would go down to 1 Brick Break usually. Okay, good, you hurt yourself, that's going to help me a lot, because now they've already continued their Tail Whip while Umbreon goes for a substitute. Like I said, there are a few possible tactics you can use here. I like the Tail Whip one because you'll see where this ends up going. Basically, it mitigates the risk of rest a little bit because it means that I tend to do a lot of damage to Mew if I get a lot of Tail Whips in. Usually not enough to one-shot though, thanks to... you know, I'm just going to go for a substitute again. Thanks to our low level, but it should be enough to be able to finish Mew off. Because you don't want Mew using Rest. Especially now that we've lost Jolteon, so we have no way of Thunder Waving it again. Oh yeah, also, every Tail Whip means more damage to Mew with Confusion, so that's also good. Guess I can go for Bite here. Bite is usually a decent option on your Pokemon, but yeah, it does not do much damage to Mew thanks to Mew's higher level and good special defense. I'm getting a lot of Tail Whips in, though. Okay, no Confusion, and that is Vaporeon gone, but that's fine. Vaporeon has served her purpose. Which actually being a female is pretty unlikely for an EV evolution. Vaporeon's animations are a little bit stiff in this game. One day I do want to do a playthrough of XD with Vaporeon. Obviously, it wouldn't be recorded, but I've used Flareon before, but I have not used Vaporeon in a playthrough of XD. I've seen a lot of people use Jolteon. So, the reason why I like to use the Tail Whip strategy is Shadow Ball. Flareon Shadow Ball does a lot of damage to Mew if it's been Tail Whipped a lot. And Umbreon's going to get Confuse Ray back in because I really, really don't want Mew to rest. Although, Shadow Ball might actually take the Mew out. Could've gone for Helping Hand, too. Yeah, see, even with all the Tail Whips... So, useless stat drop. Even with all the Tail Whips... Shadow Ball often won't KO, but Confusion will finish you off. And yes, we have defeated a Mew with just level 30 evolutions. That's a pretty fun Battle City, in my opinion. I love that one. I mean, it's also got the cool factor of, you know, actually being able to see a Mew. Sadly, there is no side B to this one, so you can't control the Mew against the evolutions. Now, we get a very, very special reward from this Battle City. We get... Sacred Ash. Now, I wish this was the reward for Battle City 47 or 48, because it would actually make more sense there. But Sacred Ash is a very, very rare item. If you've played Gold and Silver, you'll know the only way to get it is to press A on the spot that Ho-Oh used to be, after you catch or defeat Ho-Oh. In Generation 3, that Battle CD is the only way to obtain Sacred Ash without a Nintendo event, so it's pretty valuable. Sacred Ash, as you can see by the description, fully revives and restores all fainted Pokemon. It's basically a portable Pokemon Center. However, there are two problems with Sacred Ash in this game, in terms of when you get it. The first is that, as I mentioned, Operation Zero is a post-game exclusive Battle CD, so by the time you get the Sacred Ash, you've already beaten the main story, and XD does not have much post-game. Really, the only post-game fight that is not a battle facility, where you can't use Sacred Ash anyway, is Mirror B. Because... even though in Mount Battle you can use healing items, you already get fully healed between every match anyway, so there's no real point to Sacred Ash. And you might be wondering, can't I use Sacred Ash during a battle? Well... so here is the other downside of the Sacred Ash. I'm in a battle here, I have a Pokemon fainted, another one damaged. Obviously this would be a good time to use the Sacred Ash, right? Well... the Sacred Ash does not work in battle. Only outside of battle. I've never understood why this was the case. It would make so much more sense if it was usable in battle, and this is such a rare item. Why would you make it just this useless? Because if you could use it in battle, then it'd be great against final bosses or things like that. But no, you can't use it in battle, it has to be outside of battle, making it completely worthless in Mount Battle, because you get healed after every battle anyway, so there's no reason to heal outside of battle. And it's useless in Ore Coliseum, because you can't use items there anyway. So yeah, the only post-game challenge where this is maybe useful is against Mirror B, but you can heal before and after him, and so it's useless there. So, this is just weird. You get this item, but there's just no use for it at the time you get it. Probably for the best though, because it's very, very valuable, and you probably don't want to use this. It's best to keep it for trophy value. Let's check out the advice for Operation Zero. That is one option. I actually prefer Tail Whip. Lowering Mew's speed, you can do that with Thunder Wave, and that's what I like to do too, but I don't like to rely on flinching. I like to use the Tail Whip strategy. I like to confuse with Umbreon and go for substitutes, while my partner goes for Tail Whips, and then I like to go for Helping Hand boosted Shadow Balls with Flareon. So I actually don't like the advice here. I like my strategy better. But these battle cities are very open-ended. You can use whatever strategy works for you. Battle CD 47, The Ultimate, Latias and Latios, Side A, they both hold Soul Dew. Yeah, this one is pretty terrifying, but not nearly as terrifying as Side B, we'll get to that later. For now though, we have a level 77 Lugia and Ho-Oh versus a level 77 Latias and Latios, and as the description said, they both hold Soul Dew. This means that their special attack and special defense are multiplied by 1.5 times each. So they effectively start the battle with a calm mind. And Latias has more of a supportive moveset, while Latios is a little more offensive. Don't expect to see it ever use Memento, it usually doesn't. As for us, our Ho-Oh has... Reflect is actually useless here. I don't know why we have Reflect. Aerial Ace is probably our main source of damage, even though our attack is only slightly higher than our special attack. Sacred Fire can be nice for burn chance, but that Protect is also useful. Lugia has some fairly standard moves. It's kind of funny, Lugia has more of an offensive moveset than the Ho-Oh, even though it really should be the other way around. Aeroblast is what we really want to focus on here. Icy Wind, though, is also very, very useful. Legendary Birds of Johto versus Legendary Birds of Hoenn. Let's go. And the crowd goes wild for Latias and Latios, who are actually some of the first legendaries to have gender, now I think about it, even though that's not really relevant here. And we have, I guess, the mascots of XD and Coliseum, Lugia and Ho-Oh. So, you want to start things off by lowering their speed with Icy Wind. They're both naturally faster than us, and it is very hard to win this if we're slower than them. So, Icy Wind is good to go. Now, here is something else. The AI always double targets Ho-Oh on the first turn, so you want to have Ho-Oh protect. This buys Lugia time to use Icy Wind. You only need to use Icy Wind once, so once you've done that, don't worry about it. As you can see here, the AI always doubles up on Ho-Oh. The problem here is that Icy Wind can miss, so let's hope it doesn't. The damage is tiny, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, good, we hit Latios. Because if it misses Latios, we have problems. So, at this point, you want to use physical moves on them, because that gets around their special defense boost from the Soul Dew. So, at this point, really, you can do whatever you want. Now their speed is lowered, they're not that big of a threat, but I kind of like to take out Latios first. Latias is, I guess, slightly less of a threat. Also, Aeroblast has a high critical hit ratio. As you can see, Aeroblast hits them pretty hard. Don't try using special moves on them. Even Lugia's Ice Beam, even though it's super effective, the Soul Dew means it's not going to be doing very much damage. Okay, now that we've focused down on one of them and it's now gone, we shouldn't have that much trouble handling Latias. Yeah, as you can see, we get 2-hit KO'd thanks to that Soul Dew. In fact, I'm just going to protect Ho-Oh just to get a little bit of extra damage in from Lugia without needing to worry about Ho-Oh's safety. If Aeroblast crits even once, you pretty much got this, though bear that in mind because that'll become more annoying later. Okay, nice protect there. We should have this. Let's go for the Aerial Ace Aeroblast combo. So with their speed lowered, this battle CD is really not that hard. Remember this is a side A though. See the problem here? I think you do. The real pain is yet to come. So for completing that, we get a max revive. And yes, by completing that, we get side B. Oh boy, I am not looking forward to this one. The advice for this CD... yeah, that's good to know. And that's also good to know. Battle CD 48, the ultimate Latias and Latios Side B. Neither holds Soul Dew. The ultimate is right. Most players agree that this is the hardest battle CD out of all 50. So, we have pretty much the exact same setup, except for one thing. Latias and Latios no longer have Soul Dew. They have the exact same movesets they did before, and Memento may actually be useful here. And they're up against Ho and Lugia, who both have items to boost their stab moves. So, remember how easy Side A was, even when Latias and Latios had the Soul Dew? Yeah. Ho and Lugia are insanely tough to take down. They're both incredibly bulky, we don't have the Soul Dew to boost their offensive powers, they also hit very, very hard, and if Aeroblast crits either of us, we're done. You cannot win this battle CD if Lugia crits you. And Aeroblast is a high critical hit ratio move. Yeah. So, when I was practicing this, it took me 40 minutes of straight attempts before I was able to get one success. So, I am not going to discuss the tactics in the battle CD itself, because once I get into that, there's a very good chance that I'll lose, and I don't want to have to repeat my commentary over and over again. So, I'm going to simply discuss some basic tactics now, and then I will just show like a whole bunch of my attempts, because I know I'm not going to do this on the first try. So, strategies. Lugia needs to go down first. I know it might seem like Ho-Oh is the bigger threat, but believe me, the less turns you have to deal with the risk of Aeroblast crits, the better. Like I said, if Aeroblast crits you even once, you are absolutely done. You cannot win this. So Lugia needs to go down fast. Unfortunately, Lugia takes at bare minimum 3 turns to go down. It's 4-hit KO'd by Latias' Thunderbolt, and Latios' Dragon Claw isn't much better. A couple of hits and a Helping Hand boosted Dragon Claw usually takes Lugia down in 3 turns, but even then, in 3 turns, you have often lost anyway. So, Memento can be decent as a last resort. I'd rather aim it at Ho-Oh than at Lugia, because if Lugia crits with Aeroblast, the Memento boost is useless. Well, penalty, but whatever. Latias' Safeguard might seem like it's useful here, but Ho-Oh in practice almost never uses Thunder Wave, and while the risk of Sacred Fire burn is annoying, it's not really that much of a setback if Sacred Fire does burn you. Oh, also, there is exactly one way you want to start this battle, and that is to have Latios Protect. Lugia generally goes for Icy Wind on turn 1 about 95% of the time. I say 95% because in all of my attempts over those 40 minutes, on one of them, Lugia didn't use Icy Wind on the first turn. In all the others, it did. So I'd say 95% of the time is a good estimate. If you have Latios Protect, then Latios will be able to outspeed the two of them for the rest of the battle, because Lugia almost never goes for Icy Wind twice. With Latios faster than the others, it's easier to pick off either of them if they're heavily weakened before they can attack you. Now, getting into the late game, Latias, provided there aren't any critical hits, which, well, can always happen and they're always annoying, provided there aren't any critical hits, Latias with Recover generally beats Ho-Oh one-on-one, even without Memento. If you keep recovering, Ho-Oh generally won't be able to do much to you with Aerial Ace. Lugia, on the other hand, you risk a crit, and that's gonna spell the end for you. Latios 1-on-1 actually doesn't match up so well with Ho-Oh, so you want to keep Latias around as long as you can. Okay, that should be everything that I wanted to talk about. Let's begin. Hardest battle CD in the game. Let's see how I do. Here they are, Lugia and Ho-Oh. Wow, just thank Arceus Lugia doesn't have multi-scale yet, because if it did, this would be even worse. So, starting turn 1, I like to have Latias Thunderbolt the Lugia, and Latios goes for Protect, just to make sure that Latios' speed doesn't get reduced by Icy Wind, like I said. Enjoy Latias being faster while it lasts. Yep, see, that is a super effective Thunderbolt on Lugia. Unless we get a crit, that is the best we have to deal with. There is a lot of luck involved in this battle. If Thunderbolt crits or paralyzes, that's great. If they crit you, not so great. Also, there's a lot of luck involved in who Ho-Oh targets on turn 1. I got lucky there. There is no pattern to what the AI does on turn 1 in this battle CD, unlike the side A, so you can't out-predict them with Protect here. Now, I'm just going to go for a second Thunderbolt onto Lugia, and Latios will go for Dragon Claw. Remember, Dragon Claw is special in Gen 3. And yes, remember what I said? Lugia gets 4-hit KO'd. Oh no, Aeroblast. Okay, no crit, that's good, but it hit Latias, which is bad. Because if there's a double target on Latias... There was... Oh, that's not good. That is really terrible. Okay, that is KO range for Dragon Claw, though. So, I'm going to have Latias doesn't have Protect. I forgot about that. Yeah, you see why double targets against Latias are unlucky? It's because of that. This is actually a serious problem. I have to gamble on Recover and just hope that Ho-Oh targets Latios here, because there's really nothing else I can do. There's no real reason to go for Helping Hand here, because Dragon Claw is going to knock out Lugia. Believe me, I know from experience. I had done this battle CD way too many times. So at least the risk of Aeroblast crit is gone, but now it's down to just Ho-Oh, and I really don't want you to target Latias, but you probably will. You did, okay. This is actually very, very bad. Latios generally can't beat Ho-Oh 1-on-1. I'm just going to attempt to scout you with Protect. But I probably already lost this. At least I am faster. But just watch how much this does. Yeah, it's a 4-hit KO at best. And Ho-Oh's Aerial Ace is a 3-hit KO. So, in general, we can't really win this. You want Latias to still be around by the time Ho-Oh is on its own. Oh, we got a crit, which means we could win this. I kind of feel bad for getting a crit, and that actually means that I did do this on my first recorded attempt, which is completely stupid. Reverse Let's Play curse, I guess. But, like I said, there is quite a bit of luck involved in this fight. I might even record another attempt of this just to show Latias versus Ho in the endgame, because that's usually how things go. But there is a lot of luck involved here, in terms of who they decide to double target, crits, status, yeah. So, for completing that, we get the same reward as Side A, and Max Revive. Really not a good reward for that. Seriously, we should have got something amazing from that. Call me crazy, I am recording a second attempt of this, mainly because I almost feel like winning this on my first try was an insult to all of my practice runs. So, I just want to show you a few other ways this battle CD can go. So, Latias goes for Thunderbolt on Lugia. I usually like to play the first turn the exact same way every time. I once got a crit Paralyze on Lugia on turn 1. That usually doesn't happen, but if it does, it really helps. Now see, as you can see, Lugia's going for Icy Wind again. It was weird, on one of my practice attempts, Lugia didn't use Icy Wind. It was kind of strange. Okay, got lucky there. As I said, though, you know what, I want to try something. Let's see how much a helping-handed Dragon Claw does. Lugia tends to go down in 3 turns maximum regardless, so it doesn't really matter what you do here. Just as long as you either go for a helping-handed Dragon Claw or Thunderbolt to Dragon Claw into Lugia. Yeah, I still need one more turn. And that means 1 turn of Aeroblast. No crit there. Hitting Latios actually might be a bit of a boon. That's not, though. Ho-Oh actually has a pretty uncanny tendency to crit you. And at this point, we're pretty much done. I don't see how we're winning this. The tide of battle can turn very quickly in this battle CD. Again, there is a lot of luck involved, seeing how unmatched you are. Yeah. That happens. For some reason, like, none of them have the scope lens, but it almost feels like they have some kind of a hidden scope lens effect, because I swear, they crit you way more than they should in this battle CD. The advice for this one... This is pretty vague, but at least they tell you that your opponent will try and lower your speed, although I still don't know what happened that one time they didn't, but anyway. Yeah, this is why there is no pattern on the first turn. As you can see, they targeted Latias with Sacred Fire there. After the nightmare that was the previous Battle CD, weirdly enough, Battle CDs 49 and 50 are actually kind of easy and a pretty nice breather. You can also find these before you beat the game, so it's kind of strange they did that. I actually wish that these two were 49 and 50 instead of these. But anyway, Legendary Pokemon Challenge 1. Can you beat this combination? So, we have a Jumpluff and a Ninjask versus a Groudon and Shiftry. Despite what it may seem, this is actually a pretty easy battle CD overall. So, Jumpluff has Sleep Powder, Solar Beam, Aerial Ace, Protect. Yeah, you're mostly just going to be using Solar Beam. Protect is also nice, Sleep Powder is great. You definitely have the Chlorophyll ability, so that's also good to know. Whereas Ninjask has pretty standard Ninjask-ish moves. No Swords Dance, unfortunately. Also, Ninjask is already faster than everything else on the field, so there is no need to worry about getting speed boosts. Groudon has, again, pretty standard Groudon moves, whereas Shiftry has Explosion and Fake Out, so watch out for that. Look at that attack sound on Groudon. Once again, we've sort of got a David versus Goliath situation here. I was distracted for a bit because I swear I've seen the name Corbin in something else that was the name of a character. Oh no, actually, wait, no, it was the name of a character in a Fire Emblem fan game. Corbin, actually, though. Anyway, let's just do this. And the big Groudon is coming out first. I've always liked how, I know Groudon's model isn't that great in this game, but I've just loved how huge it looks in Colosseum and XD. It really adds to just how intimidating it is to fight. So anyway, there's Drought, and that means that Jumpluff has Chlorophyll active, but remember also, Shiftry does too. So I'm going to go for Protect on Jumpluff, and Ninjask is going to... I think the AI actually double targets Jumpluff on the first turn, so Ninjask is in a Silph Wind Shiftry. Okay, there's Fake Out, aimed at Jumpluff, good. And then Ninjask Silph Wind should get rid of Shiftry thanks to the Quad Wingedness, which will prevent Shiftry from exploding later. Yeah, seems like the AI always double targets Jumpluff. Now that Groudon is alone, its Ancient Power is still pretty scary, but if we put it to sleep, then it should hopefully not be that much of a threat to us. I'm just going to go for a Substitute. Okay, good. Sleep Powder actually hits. That helps. And Groudon is now asleep. So Ninjas is a bit of a buffer now against Ancient Power. At this point, it's pretty much just wail on the Groudon and hope it doesn't wake up. This is funny, I actually forget if ground resists bug or not. Guess we'll find out. No, it does not, but that does barely anything. That won't, though. That's pretty lucky, actually. You kind of have to rely on Solar Beam here, but you also have to rely on Groudon being asleep, because if an Ancient Powers Jump Off, that is really bad. Solar Beam does quite a number on it, though. Okay, still asleep, that means I win this. Because Solar Beam will finish Groudon off, and actually Ninjas will be able to get the final blow, probably. So Silver Wind is 60, that makes it 90. Yeah, that's still stronger than Shadow Ball. And Groudon goes down. We have defeated an Uber Legendary with some pretty humble Pokemon, actually. So we know what to do. That Battle City really isn't that bad. If Jumpluff misses Sleep Powder, though, that can cause problems. So for completing that Battle City, we get TM11. I'm pretty sure I know what that TM is. This is also why it's probably recommended you do this during the main story, not the post-game, because that's Sunny Day, which can be useful to have on your team if you use a lot of fire types or want to lower the weaknesses of Pokemon that are weak to water. Okay, I feel like Shiftry's going to go for Explosion now. It's probably always turn 3 when it happens, but I just double protected, so I may have found an alternate way of winning this Battle City. Also, if Ninjas has a Substitute up, it'll also survive Explosion. So yeah, now we're down to just Groudon. And I can just go Solar Beam and Silver Wind. I mean, I like Silver Winding Shiftry early, but this strategy works too. Waiting for the Shiftry to use Explosion, then double protecting. Sadly, I don't think the Explosion can carry Groudon, because I'm pretty sure that Groudon always protects when Shiftry uses Explosion. The advice for this one... that's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, also remember that Shiftry has Chlorophyll too. We've come a long way, but we're finally here. Only one challenge stands between us and total Battle CD domination. Battle CD 50, Legendary Pokemon Challenge 2. Can you beat this combination? And it's a Kyogre and a Kingdra. And we have a Quagsire and Lanturn. Thankfully our Lanturn has Protect, because otherwise Quagsire's Earthquake would be terrible. Quagsire has Amnesia, we've got a Kyogre with Hydro Pump and Thunder, and a Kingdra with some fairly decent moves as well, also Protect. Also remember, Kingdra will have Swift Swim, so it will have doubled speed in rain, thanks to Kyogre, so it will be very, very fast. Now, hopefully Quagsire has Water Absorb. I'm pretty sure it should, because Damp would be useless here. In the case where it does, that'd mean that Kyogre can only damage Quagsire with Ice Beam, which is definitely really helpful. As for Lanturn, we've got Thunder. Thunder is great thanks to Kyogre's Perma Rain, meaning that we're always hit with it. Confuse Ray can help a little bit, and there's also Protect. So, there are a few possible paths to victory in this Battle CD. So, let's see if we can dethrone the Lord of the Sea. So, the final battle begins. Here's Kyogre and the Kingdra, which will be extremely fast thanks to Swift Swim. And we have Quagsire and Lanturn. And Drizzler's making it rain. Insert Marvel Baby memes here. So, Quagsire's going to protect here. Lanturn is going to... while Confuse Ray can help a bit, I feel like I just want to Thunder Kyogre. Now, last time I did this, they double targeted Quagsire, so let's see if that's true of this. Okay, targeting Quagsire. And targeting Quagsire. So, good thing I protected there. This kind of shows you some general double battling strategies too. How predicting a double target can really help you turn the tide of battle in your favor. So I essentially got a free Thunder off there. Now, I kind of want to use Amnesia, but the thing is, both of them do so much damage that Amnesia doesn't really do much. Quagsire doesn't actually learn Recover in Generation 3, so it wouldn't be able to have that anyway. I guess I'll just go for Earthquake here and maybe Protect Lantern. Okay. Okay, nice one. Yeah, the AI usually does follow patterns like this, and Kyogre is already down. They sort of follow a pattern of predicting Protect, so if one of your Pokemon protects against a double target one turn, they're like, oh, obviously it won't try that twice, let's double target the other one. But then if you just protect with the other one, then, yeah, this happens. I guess Quagsire will protect while Lantern just thunders. I mean, I could Earthquake here, but Lantern already protected last turn. I don't really want to knock out my own. Oh, I guess I didn't correctly predict them this time. Yeah, even with it not very effective, in Rain coming from Kingdra, Hydro Pump still hurts a lot. Well, Thunder is what's coming into Kingdra. And there it goes. If you do this Battle City right, it's really not that bad. And that is the last one completed, all 50 of them done. The advice for this battle CD, that's just general advice for double battles, period. But I guess that fits being the last one. You sort of have to play this one by ear, just use all the strategies you've learned, and try and outplay your opponents. Given what the reward was from 49, it should be obvious to tell what the reward is from Battle City 50. It's also a TM. I'll just say it now, it's Rain Dance, which should be pretty obvious. Again, if you think you'll need this for your team during the main story, it'll be a good idea to finish this Battle City then. It's really not that hard. But there is an additional reward for beating all 50 Battle CDs. 15,000 Poké Coupons. That is quite a lot. And with that, we have completed all 50 Battle CDs. You can still play them again anytime you want. You just won't get any more rewards from them. But a lot of these are still fun to replay. And so, that's it. We've done it. We have completed all the Battle CDs. I guess I look forward to my next challenge too. Which in this case will be Aura Coliseum, but I suppose I can take this time to add sort of kind of a postscript to this. So, it seems a lot of you have really enjoyed these Battle CD videos, and I'm glad because I feel like Battle CDs are a very underlooked part of this game. Not a lot of people who cover this game on YouTube cover the Battle CDs, and so I really wanted to show these because they are one of my favourite aspects of Pokemon XD. You don't have to do them all in the post-game, you can do them anytime you want, apart from the CDs that are post-game only, obviously. And they're really fun challenges, I feel. They teach you a lot about the mechanics of this game, about obscure effects of moves that you mightn't otherwise know, and they're all pretty clever puzzles. I really wish that something like this would come back. A lot of people have been saying, and I kind of agree, the closest thing to Battle CDs that's appeared in a later generation has been PokéStar Studios. PokéStar Studios is kind of similar. You're given fixed Pokemon and you're supposed to do certain moves to make the right outcome. It's a little bit different though, but in some ways I guess you can consider those Battle CDs, except that have story attached to them, and how you do in the Battle CD affects the way the story goes. But sadly there hasn't been anything like that in the series since, and I feel like it could really use it because ever since Gen 3 there have been a lot of moves with obscure effects that you wouldn't know otherwise. And mechanics in the gameplay have also changed. I mean, think of all of the cool puzzles they could do with things like the Tapus, like their terrains, or, I don't know, like targeting your own Pokemon with stamina, maybe? There's a lot of new puzzles they could do, and I really wish they would do something like this in a future generation, but, I don't know, I guess we'll have to see. Like I said, PokéStar Studios is pretty much the closest we ever got to another set of Battle CDs. So, with that, all the Battle CDs have been completed. the next thing that I plan to do in XD, and it might not be for a little while because I need to really do some serious training. Yeah, some of the Pokemon that I have on my GBA games that are EV trained are level 65, which means that if I want to do Aura Colosseum, I need to train the rest of the Pokemon that I want to use to level 65, which might take a while. Considering how long it took me to grind to level 60 after beating the main story, yeah. So, that might take a while. Thankfully, I do have the Lucky Egg now, so that will speed things up. But I will be planning on doing Aura Colosseum someday. Probably won't be soon, but it will be someday. And, for now, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the battle CDs, and I will see you again next time. So, Big Clingy signing off.